City Council meeting for the City of Albany on September 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for participating. We'll have a roll call, please.
Councilor Stacy Bartholomew,
Present.
Councilor Ray Kopczynski,
Here.
Councilor Bessie Johnson, here. Councilor Marilyn Smith,
Here.
Councilor Dick Olson,
Here.
Councilor Matilda Novak.
Here.
Thank
And
you very
Mayor-
much. Thank you very much. I'm here, by the way.
Thank you.
So next on our agenda is a proclamation. We have two of them. I'll be reading the first one, and Councilor Kopczynski has volunteered to read the second one. Whereas on the unprovoked terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, thrust the United States and our other countries into a war we never envisioned militarily or diplomatically. And whereas the challenges of facing the civilized peoples of the world as they relate to the struggle against terrorism and will not end until those responsible are eliminated or brought to justice. And whereas America is fully committed to ensuring our freedoms for all generations now and forever. And whereas world opinion needs to continue to acknowledge the importance of the eradication of the inhuman acts perpetrated around the globe. And whereas one way to accomplish this is to never forget that the innocent victims of 9/11 did not die in vain. And whereas America can fight back by reminding the world that these people will always be remembered and they will be forever loved. And whereas a noble and appropriate way to accomplish this is through the annual celebration of their living. And whereas this commemoration should be conducted each September 11th throughout the land and include the proclamation, the promotion of global peace and goodwill, the demonstration of America's resolve and perseverance to prevail against the evils of terrorism, the advancement of responsible citizenship, the encouragement of patriotism and love of country, and the poignant remembrance of those innocent victims who died September 11th as heroes, one and all. Now, therefore, I, Alexander D. Johnson II, Mayor of the City of Albany, Oregon, do hereby issue this proclamation to memorialize these men, women, and children who lost their lives on September 11, 2001, so that the citizens of Albany may remember with eternal respect those lives suddenly and pointlessly taken. May they forever live, rest in peace. In witness whereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Albany to be affixed on this 8th day of September 2021. Alexander D. Johnson, Mayor of Albany. Sorry, but I get choked up whenever I read this. It was a really rough day for me. Thank you very much.
Whereas Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW Post 584 in Albany, Oregon was chartered January 5th, 1921 with 41 members under the command of Glenn P. Wallace. And whereas VFW Post 584 is a nonprofit veterans organization that assists and provides services to local veterans. And whereas VFW Post 584 is highly dedicated to the missions the National VFW puts forth in the Voice of Democracy, Patriot Pen, and all the veteran outreach programs. And whereas VFW Post 584 celebrated its centennial on January 5th, 2021. And whereas the celebration was delayed due to the global pandemic of COVID-19. And whereas the celebration event has been scheduled for Saturday, September 11th, 2021, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at VFW Post 584. And whereas Post Commander Mark Lamberty will open a short program that will also include several speakers to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attack. And whereas the community is invited to the celebration with a special invitation extended to police, firefighters, active military, and veterans. Now, therefore, I, Alexander D. Johnson II, Mayor of the City of Albany, do hereby proclaim September 8th, 2021 as Veterans of Foreign Wars Centennial Recognition in Albany. And I call upon all residents to recognize and celebrate 100 years of VFW Post 584 in Albany, Oregon.
Thank you very much, Counselor. So next up on the agenda is report adoption of Dumbeck Lane Domestic Water Service District's customers. Director Chris Bailey is going to speak to us today. It's on page 4 and 5 of your packet.
Hello, Mayor and councilors. I'd like to give you an update on where we are with the absorption of the Dumbeck Lane Water District. The council may remember that I spoke with you back in March about a serious situation the Dumbeck Lane Board was finding itself in. In summary, they have a 5-person board and only had 3 elected directors in the spring, one of whom was not running for re-election. So they were facing a loss of their quorum on July 1st. Our understanding is that if they could not function, eventually the state would ask the courts to appoint an entity responsible for ensuring the Dumbeck customers continue to receive drinking water as a matter of public health. If that were to happen, there was a high likelihood that Albany would be tasked to provide water to the Dumbeck customers because we have the direct connection to their system and currently provide wholesale water to Dumbeck. So in order to prevent the state forcing us to do that in an disorganized, perhaps manner, we discussed with the council in March moving forward with absorbing their customers and working with Benton County and the Dumbeck Board to try to resolve this in a somewhat controlled manner. Since March, we've done quite a bit of work, city staff, county staff, and the Dumbeck Board, in particular, Bo Price, trying to get all of this resolved. And I want to emphasize that this is a process by which one jurisdictional body is going to be annexed into a new jurisdiction, and its customers and assets are assigned to a separate jurisdiction, and then the original jurisdiction dissolved, all of which is complicated and is happening very quickly. So I'm going to try to keep it at a high level because even as we go, even since I wrote the memo for this council meeting, some of the details have changed. So I have a few PowerPoint slides to try to share with you if I can manage the technology, maybe. How's that? Are you seeing my slides? Okay. Phew, first test. Okay, so first I'm going to describe for you the 2 special districts that I'm talking about, and then you'll hear more from the Rob Emmons in just a few minutes in the public hearing about these 2 districts. So we have the North Albany County Service District, which is a special district. It's governed by the Benton County Board of Commissioners. It exists outside the UGB and city limits in North Albany, which are contiguous in North Albany. We have a 1990 IGA between the city and the county that describes our relationship around the North Albany County Service District. Many of the properties in this district, but not all of them, currently receive drinking water directly from Albany, meaning our utility billing department manages their accounts, we read their meters, we bill them directly with the City of Albany water bill. This is a different situation from Dumbeck right now. Right now, Dumbeck Lane is another special district in Benton County, also outside the Albany UGB. They're governed by their own elected board of directors. Most, but not all, of the properties in Dumbeck get drinking water from the Dumbeck Lane Water Service District. The district used to receive drinking water from Adair Village, but in 2006, they began receiving water from Albany as a wholesale customer, which is described in an IGA between Albany and Dumbeck. And we also provide operations and maintenance work for the Dumbeck Lane through a separate IGA. So Albany sells Dumbeck water under a wholesale rate, then Dumbeck has to get their meters read, create bills, bill their customers, and collect revenue. So currently, Dumbeck customers receive a bill from Dumbeck. Currently, North Albany County Service District customers receive a bill from Albany. So just hang on to that thought for a minute because we'll come back to that. Are there any questions about these 2 districts yet? I have a map that I hope will help. Any questions? Okay. So this is a map that shows the North Albany County Service District parcels. The dashed line here is the UGB in North Albany. And then all of these shaded properties are North Albany County Service District properties. So there's quite a few of them. And as I said, most, but not all of these properties receive water from the city of Albany. This is a map of the Dumbeck Lane parcels, these shaded parcels here. And as you can see, also outside the UGB and sort of close to, but separate from the North Albany County Service District. So part of this process is that Dumbeck Lane properties are going to be annexed into the North Albany County Service District. So once that process happens, then all of the shaded properties on this map will be North Albany County Service District customers. Any questions about that?
And so Director, so you all receive a bill from Albany, or are we just sending it to North
They will
Albany?
all receive a bill from Albany, and I'll get to that in just a second. Okay. So as I mentioned, Dumbeck was facing this situation of not being able to have a quorum. And so they would not have been able to conduct business, such as approve a budget, et cetera. And one of the 3 board members agreed to extend his term. So they do currently have 3 board members, which is a quorum, which is great. And Benton County and city staff and Dumbeck are working together to try to make all of these moving parts happen before that 3rd person's term ends. So the simplest solution would be to annex Dumbeck directly into the North Albany County Service District and just bill them like we do Albany customers or North Albany County Service District customers now. But Dumbeck has a loan from the Safe Drinking Water Revolving Fund through Business Oregon that is not due to be paid off until 2034. Some Dumbeck properties are still paying a monthly debt payment charge towards that loan. Albany cannot take on additional debt without a vote of the public, so we cannot assume the loan. Benton County agreed to take on the debt responsibility, but they don't have a simple way to bill and collect the debt payments for this loan. So the agreement that we worked out is that Benton County will take on the responsibility for the loan. Albany will continue to bill the Dumbeck customers that are currently paying this monthly debt charge, the same debt charge that they're currently paying. We will collect that and we'll send that over to Benton County so that they can make the annual loan payment. So these are the actions that we're working on to make all of this happen. First, Dumbeck requested to be annexed to the North Albany County Service District. Benton County has begun the annexation process, and we expect them to complete that at their meeting on September 21st. Albany is assuming the Dumbeck water customers. Once they are in the North Albany County Service District, the former Dumbeck customers will become North Albany County Service District water customers of the city of Albany. They'll pay the same rates as the current North Albany County Service District customers pay. The only exception being those properties that still pay the monthly debt charge will pay that charge on top of the county service district rates until the loan is paid off. And then Albany will acquire the assets of the Dumbeck water system and will operate and maintain that as we do the rest of the water system in the North Albany County Service District. Benton County will take over the balance of the loan, and they are responsible for making the annual payments. Albany will collect the monthly debt payment from the former Dumbeck customers that are still paying that, and then transfer that money over to Benton County so they can make their annual payment. And then once all of these things have happened, the Dumbeck Lane Water District will dissolve, and then there will be no more Dumbeck District, and those customers will just be North Albany County Service District customers. Albany is going to conduct a final master meter reading for the last wholesale water bill to Dumbeck in late September. I'm not 100% sure of the date, so I don't want to give you a date, but it's sometime that last week of September. And then we'll send Dumbeck their last bill. All of the Dumbeck customers are going to be transferred to the Albany utility billing system. Our current plan is to use the existing Dumbeck customer account information and just create accounts in our utility billing system, so that the onus is not on the customer, that we'll just automatically create the accounts, and not, hopefully we won't miss anybody by requiring them to take any action. We're going to start doing outreach material to the Dumbeck customers, so that we've already sent some information to them, and Dumbeck has sent some information to them. But we will be sending more, so that they know what the Albany water bills look like, so that hopefully they're not surprised when they get this bill from the city of Albany and think that something has gone awry and they don't pay their bill. And our goal is, of course, to make it as seamless and painless as possible for the customers from their perspective. So there are two actions that the council will need to take. The first one is tonight, on tonight's agenda. Just after this update, there's a public hearing, and that is to adopt revise Albany water rate resolutions. So it's a little complicated, but there are two resolutions. One is for the current calendar year, and the other is for calendar year 2022, because as I'm sure you remember, you adopted rates for next year as part of our combined water, sewer, and stormwater rate presentation and public hearings that we held in June. So in our effort to be efficient and adopt those in June, we now have to modify them so that when they go into effect January 1st, they will reflect the correct relationship between Albany and Dumbeck. The rate resolutions are not changing any rates for anybody. Albany water rate customers, North Albany County Service District rate customers are not changing. None of those rates are changing. There are only two significant things that are happening. Number one, we're removing the language that described the wholesale rate relationship between Albany and Dumbeck, because that's going away. And the second thing is we're adding language that allows Albany to charge those former Dumbeck customers that currently are paying their debt payment every month. We will continue to charge them the same amount that they're currently paying on their debt payment until the loan is paid off. The second action that you'll have to take at a future council meeting, which might be September 22nd, if we can get everything done that needs to be done, is an update of the IGA between Albany and Benton County. This is the 1990 IGA that discusses the North Albany County Service District. We're working on revising that IGA now, and hopefully we'll have that for you by the end of the month. Yes, Councilor Smith.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to clarify. You've mentioned several times that the Dumbeck customers who are currently paying the debt charge, that says to me that not all Dumbeck customers are paying the debt charge. Is that correct?
That's right. And I knew you would catch that. So thank you for.
You're welcome.
I will attempt to explain. When Dumbeck took out their loan for their capital improvements in 2006, they liened every property that was benefiting from those capital improvements, their fair share of that loan. So the customers, and they broke it up into monthly payments over the life of the loan. There's a group of customers who are still paying that, and it's $19 a month, and that's what it has been this whole time. So there are other customers that when a property was sold or refinanced, that lien was paid off. And so Dumbeck received the full amount of that lien, and those customers are no longer paying a monthly charge. So the $19 a month charge doesn't apply to every Dumbeck customer, but those customers that are currently paying it will continue to pay it.
Thank you. That's very clear.
Ugh, good. That was the end of my presentation, actually. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I think Counselor Smith's question was my question as well. I've known Bo for a long time, and we've been talking about this for a long time. But I'll defer to Counselor Kopsinski. He has his hand up.
Possibly it's already been answered and I just didn't quite hear it correctly. What's the time frame for all of this to actually transpire with all the debt being paid off by the current existing Dumbeck players that are involved?
Well, all of this, all of the work to annex the district and get it them into Albany as Albany customers, and for the district to dissolve is anticipated to be done by October 1st.
You said some of the Dumbeck customers were going to continue to pay their share of the debt.
So the maturity date for the loan, I think, was in like 2034 or something like that. There's still a number of years left, but here comes another complicating factor. Dumbeck has taken their debt, their reserve accounts, and made a significant payment on the loan. So Benton County and Business Oregon are currently calculating how much is left to be paid on the loan. And it's possible that Dumbeck will have enough reserve cash to fully pay off the loan this calendar year.
Wow.
But we don't know. And when we started this, we didn't know that. So to cover everyone's bases, we're including the permission to charge this $19 per month capital charge on the customers that currently still have that obligation until the loan is paid off. So it could be paid off October 15th, it could be paid off December 15th, or it could be paid off in 2034, who knows? But as long as there's a balance and Benton County needs to collect the revenue, then we will collect the $19 per month and send that to them so they can make that payment.
We will know that actuarial time frame when?
Well, we're hoping to know within the next week or two,
Okay.
but I'm not managing that part. So I'm not 100% sure how much is left. It was Dumbeck's intention to try to pay it off before this whole transfer happened, but I'm not 100% sure if that will happen or not.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Johnson?
Yes, thank you. Chris, if I remember correctly, a Dumbeck representative came and said that all of the customers are aware of this. Is that correct?
Well, it's really hard to attest to what people are aware of, but what I think I know that they have reached out and provided all of this information to everyone multiple times. But how much people are paying attention, it's sort of with our customers when we do bill stuffers or things like that, not everyone reads those things. So we're going to do potentially another bill stuffer. We might do a direct letter, and I think we'll probably also do door hangers. We're going to have a meeting later this week to really wrap up our planning for the outreach. There's not a lot of people. There's only like 120 something customers. Okay. So we're going to try to really target people and make sure they understand what's happening and how their bill is potentially going to change.
Okay, and the other thing I was wondering, you answered my question about how many accounts there are. Do you have any idea what the difference in cost is going to be for those, like say, house number A?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because I would imagine that it's going to be quite the difference.
You know, it really depends.
Sure.
So there are customers in Dumbeck who are currently paying a capital charge and a usage charge, you know, and a base charge. Essentially, it's very similar to the way we do that. There are those that also have a debt charge. There are some that are only paying capital, that are some that are only paying debt. You know, there's a lot of combinations of bill categories out there. So for those people that are using water and paying their capital charge, the bill difference is not hugely significant. I think it's a little bit more for Albany than they're currently paying for a similar amount of water use in Dumbeck, but it's not, you know, orders of magnitude difference. The customers that will see differences will be those that are only paying capital charges. We're not going to charge them. So it's just a different setup than we would do, and we don't charge people if they don't use water in the water system. So those people will see a reduction in their bill. So it really is a mixed bag. But the good news is we've figured it all out. And if any customer calls us, we can look in our table and say to them, like, this is how your bill will be calculated, and give them some examples as average use now versus under the North Albany County Service District rate structure.
Okay.
But it's not hugely different. And on the bottom of the memo for the public hearing is a budget impact, which I don't have in front of me, but so the city currently receives the wholesale amount for water purchase from Dumbeck and the amount we bill for O&M. Those amounts are obviously going to go away, and instead we'll receive rate revenue from the customers that receive water in Dumbeck. And so we estimated the loss of the current revenue, the addition of the new rate revenue, and it's also very close. It's a very close amount.
Okay, and then one last question. I was gonna ask you, when you're showing the map, are these are just little islands up there? I mean, and not the whole area is Dumbeck?
Yeah, no, they're let me see if I can get back to that slide. There's probably an easier way to do this than the way I'm doing it. So if you can see, the orange here is the current Dumbeck customer, and yeah, there are pockets even within North Albany County Service District where the properties did not annex in at the time it was offered. I'm guessing back in 1990. And Councilor Smith, or maybe Councilor Olson, might remember, this was all related. The North Albany County Service District formation was all related to the public health annexation that was happening up there. And so I'm not sure why different properties might not have annexed in, but yeah, they're just, you know, not necessarily every neighbor is part of the district.
Okay, so there are some even not, I mean, out of the urban growth boundary. I see those, the big one on the top left, and then the little skinny one.
Yeah, all of these are outside of the UGB. So the UGB is this dashed line here.
Oh, see, I got it. Okay, I missed the dotted line. It was too clear, that's why.
Yeah, Dumbeck goes all the way out Independence Highway, way out here is the last customer. But you can see that there's a lot of, you know, a lot of properties that are right adjacent to existing counties, North Albany County Service District properties. So
all the pink are gonna turn blue.
Correct.
Okay, well, I have to say, you and your crew have done a great job. This has got to be very confusing and to work with another county. So good job. Thank you.
Well, it's been a team effort. Bo has done a ton of work, and the Benton County staff and our staff. You know, it's just, I'm really hoping that we've dotted all of our I's. I hope we've got it all.
Thank you, Director. Thank you very much for the presentation. Councilor Olson's next.
Yeah. Do the people in the service district, do they pay a sewer fee and a stormwater fee and our new services fee? Are they going to pay those?
No, they will not pay the city services fee.
But they're going to pay the sewer fee?
They do not pay sewer. I don't think any of the North Albany County Service District customers are on city sewer, but I reserve the right to be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure they're just water customers. And stormwater, though, is a different animal because our stormwater service area is defined by the connections to the surface waters. So there are some stormwater customers who are outside, I think, outside the UGB up here off of Valley View, who are paying city stormwater charges.
Well, am I right that there's several people inside our city limits who are not on city sewer, but they pay a water bill and they pay a sewer bill because that's the way we do it?
You don't pay a sewer bill if you don't have a sewer connection.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that that you had to do that. Okay.
No, sir.
So only if you're connected to the sewer do you have to pay a sewer fee.
That's
Sewer
correct.
bill. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Olson.
No, I
Councilor
think
John-
these people are getting a pretty good deal if they don't have to pay a sewer bill and they don't have to pay our service fee.
It's starting to take too long.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's too good a deal.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you, Councilor Olson.
Um,
Councilor Johnson?
Chris, okay, those of us who aren't attached to the sewer, but we pay the
Your
water.
bill.
Yeah, we pay, okay. No, we're collected to the sewer, but we don't have the water bill. That's done a different way. Okay. I
So if
see.
there are people in the city who are on a well
Yes,
who are not paying a water bill. If they're not connected to city water, right? There are people in the city that are on septic systems and are not paying a sewer bill. Every developed property within our storm drainage area pays a stormwater fee.
right.
So that there are undeveloped properties that are not paying stormwater, but every developed property within the city or within our stormwater drainage area pays a stormwater fee. And then the city services fee, which is not my area, so Peter might have to save me on this one, is only within the city limits, I believe.
I think so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Councilor Smith, you had your hand up?
I did, but I lowered it because Director Bailey just answered what I was going to respond to Councilor Olson, that the only people inside the city limits pay the city services fee.
Yeah.
People outside the city don't benefit from those services.
Okay, thank you. So are we finished with discussion? The next item on the agenda is a public hearing. Next on tonight's agenda is a public hearing for water rate modification related to Dumbeck Lane District. District directions on how to testify and submit written materials were published on this council agenda. I hereby declare the public hearing open at 6:32 p.m. September 8th, 2021. Since there was no written material submitted and no one signed up to speak, I declare the public hearing closed at 6:33 p.m. on September 8th, 2021. Next on the agenda is item A, water rate modification related to Dumbeck Lane District. Director Bailey, pages 6 through 15 on your docket, your packet.
Rob Emmons is going to give this presentation.
So you have a staff report, Rob?
So I do, I think Chris covered most everything I was going to discuss. I think discussed that very well. I was going to emphasize, or I'd like to emphasize, that the two revised resolutions, the changes in those resolutions are shown in a bold and strikeout format in Exhibit A of those resolutions. And they are pretty minor, just as what Chris had talked about. They remove the reference to Dumbeck Lane as a wholesale customer and include them in North Albany County District as a customer of that group. And also allows the collection of the debt service charge of $19 a month for those specific Dumbeck customers who are still paying that. And that there are no rate increases included with these resolutions. These are basically kind of housekeeping changes is a way to think about that. But there are two resolutions. One, as we described above, is revised for our current rates that are charged to the end of the year. And the other revised resolution revises water rates that council enacted June 9th of this year, which take effect on January 1st of this coming year. So both those resolutions are there as part of the public hearing. So
Is that it? That all you have, sir?
Yep.
Thank you. So council, any discussion on this topic? Any more discussion?
What page of the resolution?
So will the council like to make a motion?
I will move to adopt the resolutions on page 8 and page 12, setting rates for the current year and modifying rates for the coming year, beginning January 1, 2022.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did I get everyone?
Mhm.
Those opposed with no. Motion passes. So we did both resolutions, correct? That's what I heard itself. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have business from the public. Directions on how to testify and submit written materials were published on the council agenda. There were no written materials submitted and no one signed up to speak. Excuse me, only one person signed up to speak. The city manager approved the exception. Well, excuse me, no one signed up to speak, but the city manager approved one exception. I call on Mrs. Nicole Sukow. There you are.
So close. Shuko.
Sukow, thank you.
Okay. Hello, Mayor and City Council. I know I've come in here and talked to you guys before about Hazelwood Park. We're actually sitting in the park right now, as you can see all the beautiful trees behind us. The reason we came in tonight is we just wanted to invite you guys to come out to the park and see how beautiful it is, see how amazing it is, especially right now with all of the shade. I know to actually
Recording in
come
progress.
come and see it. Also pay attention if you were walking, what resources are nearby, lack of resources nearby, things like that. And then I just wanted to point out how close our house is. This is our yard and this is the park. So it really, your decisions are going to be affecting a lot of people really closely. And then Anya, do you want to say something? Don't die.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's just Bessie.
It's okay. Just say what you want.
It'd mean a lot to come see the park for me and my siblings.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Anya. Thank you, Nicole.
Yep. Have a great night, guys.
So
Appreciate it.
again, is that Hazelwood Park you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and when's the time you're going to have an event there?
No time. I talked to Bessie about inviting you guys out individually, and she said that she talked to the city attorney and he didn't think that would be a great idea. So I'm just inviting you guys to come out at any point. You can't really pick a bad time to come here. It's beautiful all the time.
Okay.
Just come on your own and take a look, and
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree. That's a neat bunch of trees there.
It really is. All
Thank
right,
you very
thank you.
much. I appreciate it.
And Mayor, just to clarify, the
Yeah.
council visiting that park individually and meeting with someone is not a problem. It would be the entire council going out to the park as a body and meeting would be the problem. So any individual council member wants to go out and check out the park, I would encourage that. So.
Okay, thank you, that to the attorney. Thanks, Sean. So next on the agenda, I've walked the park a couple times since it came on the radar, and it's a nice little park. But be careful, if you've never been there before, that sign is really small, so you gotta be careful, somebody's behind you. Number 7, adoption of a resolution, special procurement of purchasing and card services. Diane Marzinski, page 16 through 19. So I guess that's
Good
gonna be,
evening. Diane's not with us tonight. She is actually going to be going to a training. So
Okay.
I will cover this. There's a lot of information in this memo. What we are going to ask council to do is to approve a special procurement to enter into a cooperative agreement for purchasing card services. We currently use B of A. We've used B of A for years. The contract with them expires in December. What we're going to be doing early next spring is we are going to be going out for an RFP for banking services. What we would like to do is include a purchasing card module as part of that RFP to see if we can get banking services that include both depository services as well as purchasing cards. That could save us some time, it could save money. There are a lot of advantages to that. We don't necessarily want to have to go that route if it doesn't prove good for the city. So in the meantime, to give us a little bit of wiggle room to get an RFP out there, we would like to enter into a contract. We'll be bringing this forward again on Wednesday, but I am happy to answer any questions anybody may have tonight.
so Councilor Johnson.
Yes, thank you. I was wondering, for one thing, I noticed, I mean, we don't have a BOA, Bank of America here in Albany anymore. And so I would assume that we are working with Bank of America, like corporate, the main brand, the main office, I guess. Because I'm thinking, that I'm sure Bank of America is not in every city and everything. So I'm just wondering if we could, okay to get this, how long would this be for? And then if you go out for an RFP and you can get it together, which I think is a great idea, because the more you do with one bank, the better price you get. And so I'm just wondering, how long would this be for? And then if it's possible to say, hey, let's get a bank that's in more cities now. Thank you.
So we were thinking that we would, right now, our current extension for our banking services is 3 years. As you probably know, RFPs for banking services take a long time. A lot of things to look at. We have to figure out what exactly we're looking for from the bank. Implementation takes a while. So we were thinking we would probably want to match that, the 3 years. However, there is a clause in the contract, in the agreement, that would allow us to leave with 30 days notice if we needed to.
So if we found a better bank, would you be able to make a change within 30 business days? That's what I'm understanding.
Yes, but not for purchasing card services, but we would have to, if we don't go this route, we would have to go out for an RFP for purchasing card services. We certainly don't want to have to do that since we have a banking RFP coming up in the spring. So we'd like to consolidate that as much as we can.
Any other comments, council? Any more questions? Okay. Would the council like to make a motion?
This will be coming back on Wednesday in a
Yeah, it
resolution.
is Wednesday. It is Wednesday today. So.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I keep thinking it's the work session.
You can take any time off on Monday.
I'm so sorry.
No more time off for Gina. No. I would move for the adoption of the resolution on page, I believe it's 19,
18.
Second,
18.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those in favor say nay. Those opposed? Motion passes. Did you need a roll call, Mary? I think everybody said yes.
No
Okay.
roll call needed. Thank you.
So there's a new item that was an addendum. Thank you, Allison, for doing that. A sole source procurement of clarifier drive unit. Is that of a clarifier drive unit and rebuild kits for the water reclamation facility attachments? Director Bailey, you're up again.
I'm going to toss this to Craig Prosser, who's our wastewater superintendent, and I appreciate, this is a late addition, so I appreciate your time on this matter. Go ahead, Craig.
Yes, excuse me. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Councilors. Thank you for seeing us at this last moment. And coming before you for this emergency sole source procurement request. Recently, the wastewater reclamation facility had been experiencing ongoing issues with secondary clarifier number 3 in the form of torque alarms and broken shear pins. We took number 3 off and drained to proceed with troubleshooting, trying to find the cause of these issues. City maintenance staff on multiple occasions tried to correct the issues causing the problems by adjusting different components and making repairs if needed. Also, our electrician made adjustments to the overload switches in order to correct and eliminate failures and alarms. After we were not able to fix these issues internally, we called the manufacturer technician for a site visit and inspect all 3 clarifiers. That site visit took place last Thursday, September 2nd. Upon the technician's inspection, they found number 3 clarifier with extreme wear indications that were so excessive that they could not be measured, therefore requiring a complete replacement of the drive unit. Number 2 needs a rebuild soon, and number 1 clarifier a rebuild in the next couple of years. We do have a field report available if needed. A couple of the reasons for the sole source procurement request. 1, these drive units need to be compatible with our current clarifiers and components within the clarifier apparatus. They need to fit properly and they need to be geared correctly to match the other 2 clarifiers. We need to make the repairs and replace the drive unit so we have all 3 clarifiers available before the rains start. Evoqua Water Technologies has the exact fit equipment to replace the original failed drive unit, and we can get the unit installed within the next month. Shipping times do vary, but we should be able to put this in service before the rains start. City staff recommends and requests the City Council adopt and approve the resolution for a sole source procurement on a new clarifier drive unit and 2 rebuild kits from Evoqua Water Technologies. This is for emergency repairs to avoid any potential NPDES permit violations caused from not having the capacity to treat the secondary effluent once the rains come. Our strategy is for an efficient government and safe city. Therefore, funds have been budgeted for this purpose each year in anticipation of needed repairs of the water reclamation facility. Are there any questions at this time?
Council, any questions?
I have a question.
Councilor Novak?
Yeah, I'm just curious, did this equipment fail, I don't know, how do I say, in a timely manner? We had some of those capsules or whatever they were called that failed sort of before they ought to have, before they were expected to have. I'm just wondering if these have lived their lifespan or if they died before we expected them to. And I did note that the money is in the budget,
Right.
and I appreciate that. I'm just wondering if if we got full use out of them or if they didn't last as long as we expected.
Thank you for your question. The lifespan of the bearing race itself and the bearings are 12 to 15 years, and we're right at 12 and a half years right now. So they did live their life in clarifier number 3, but that being said, they shouldn't have failed completely at this point. Number 2 clarifier is right at the rebuild stage. Number 1 clarifier, and I want to point out all 3 clarifiers were installed at the same time, same components. Number 1 is in great shape. Number 2 needs a rebuild, and 3 is a complete failure. So we won't know until we actually get in to make the repairs that find the cause of that complete failure. But typically, a rebuild does occur within 12 to 15 years, and we're right at that point.
Thank you, sir. So I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
I knowing absolutely nothing about these sort of things and learning, what sort of guarantee, warranty, if something fails ahead of schedule by a lot, are we going to end up paying money that, I mean, does the company, I know how it works in the business world. I don't know how it works in the city, but I know if usually people guarantee their work or their product at least for a certain amount of time. And if it fails ahead of schedule, I'm just wondering what sort of liability do they take on for the costs?
Well, with manufacturers that I've worked with before, they have honored their warranties. That being said, typical life is 12 to 15, but usually the manufacturer has a 10-year warranty on items. So we're right in that window where we've outlived the warranty. We're in the middle of the lifespan, and we need to have the clarifiers online for the rains. So I don't know if that quite answers your question, but if we could go back to the manufacturer if we're in that warranty period.
But we're not.
But we're not. We're outside that window. And the technician, when he was on site, wasn't sure what may have caused one clarifier to wear out more quickly than the other two. We rotate clarifiers. We do regular services on them, but this is outside our internal staff capacity to do this kind of work. We will be doing the rebuilds with the help of a technician from the company, and he will be on site for the replacement of a new unit so we can get it balanced properly and be able to operate 24/7 for the next 15 years. And now that we know what we're looking for, we're going to make sure we have a rebuild kit on hand, and we'll be making that rebuild before it becomes a failure.
Thank you, sir.
So I thank you, Matilda, Councilor Novak, for that question. I do have one. Will there be an autopsy on the unit that fell completely to get the root cause?
Yes, that's what we're going to be looking into so we can avoid that in the future. They'll take it apart. This is, if you don't mind me sharing a picture of the unit so I can explain to you what it is. Would that be okay?
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
Yes.
So if I can get this right. Can you see that?
It's coming up now.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Okay, this is the drive unit that turns our clarifier, and our clarifiers are 140 feet across. So we have two 70-foot long raker arms on the top of the surface and scrapers on the bottom of the tank. That's 18 feet deep. So there's a lot of torque that is put on this clarifier unit, and these bearings right in here that are on what's called the turntable, and it turns the entire unit 24 hours a day. That is what's worn out, these little bearings right here. And so what's happening is those arms and scrapers on the bottom of the tank are actually not level. So the north side is dragging on the bottom of the tank, and the south side is clearing all the way around. So what's happened is those have worn out and the entire unit needs to be replaced because it's so extensive, the damage to it, that we can't, it's inoperable right now. Now on unit number 2 and 1, we can replace these units and eliminate the downtime and eliminate being offline and inserviceable where we won't be able to use it. Our crunch is the time we're at. We all know the rains are coming sometime October. So we need to make sure that we can get this number 3 clarifier, all this replaced. It's about 4 feet across, so it's a significant piece of machinery there with all these gears, and we need to get that replaced.
Okay. Thank you for showing us that. It helps put some context to what we're talking about.
Okay, if I can figure out how to.
So Councilor Kopsinski had a question.
Yes, Craig, going forward, are there any kind of sensors built into these so that you could have some preventative maintenance going forward so it doesn't get to the point where all of a sudden there's a failure, there's no hints or warning signals that things are starting to need to be addressed before they go really south?
Yes, and I got to ask a question. I don't know if I'm still sharing.
Well, you are, but there's nothing.
You
in your-
are. Craig, there's a little button at the very top that says stop sharing.
Yeah, I was looking for that, but all I have is everybody's picture.
Should be up on the bar bar at the top. Mine was red, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Nope.
I'm sorry, but to answer your question, Counselor, there are, thank you, technology. There are torque dials that will show when it's creating a lot of torque. There's also the limit switches that set off alarms within the SCADA system. So we're aware at that time that we have issues. Brian Stevens, our new wastewater treatment supervisor, had direct contact communication with the technician, and he could probably answer those questions better than I, if you'd like a more in-depth answer there.
Well, I guess my question was, if there are sensors that are capable of detecting early issues, are we using them? And if not, why not?
Yes, we were using them. That's why we took the clarifier offline and we started to troubleshoot to figure out what was causing the problem. Maintenance was able to get it running for about a week, and it ran like a dream, and then it quit again. And so that was on multiple occasions. Then we brought in the electrician. So as soon as we saw alarms and had issues, there's a shear pin in there also. So what happens is if there's too much torque, that shear pin will break and it'll stop the clarifier. So that's another indicator too. So we did have those indicators. We do have regular maintenance that we do on the unit itself. So these are things that we are able to do within our own scope of experience. But once the technician came, he was able to point out what the direct cause of it was.
And what was the cause?
Well, that the bearings are worn out, and so the arms that are 70 feet on each side of the drive unit are not balanced, and so then it started dragging the floor on the tank itself.
Yeah, I got that. I was just wondering what caused the bearings to wear out.
Well, we have found some shims within right below the drive unit to balance that, level that drive unit out. These floors are angled to bring everything to the center. So you have not a flat floor, and then you're trying to put all the bracing for the walkway and all the center well and everything, and then try and balance that on top, and then put the drive unit on top of that. So there were some shims in there. We have to find out, do some more investigation during the breakdown of the equipment and removal and replacement to give us a better idea to definitively say this is what caused too much pressure on one side, not enough on the other, causing the bearing failure.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Lack of alignment can be really tough on equipment.
Especially that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Craig. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Counselor Olson. Counselor, for your questions. I was supposed to read a statement before this, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it now to make sure we're legal. Counselors, please note the supplemental agenda item for this meeting. The supplemental agenda was posted and routed in accordance with public hearings laws, public meetings laws. The new item is a sole source procurement of a clarifier drive unit and rebuild kits of a reclamation facility. There's a resolution for your consideration. So we've had discussion. Council, have any more questions for the Public Works team? And if not, we'll just, someone like to make a motion.
So do we have a dollar amount we're talking about here?
The dollar amount was on the memo.
It's, so 73,000, I think.
$73,003.78.
Yes.
And that includes 2 rebuild kits for the number 2 and number 1 clarifier.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I would move that we proceed in purchasing the equipment to repair the clarifiers.
Second.
Second. So all in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we don't have to read the resolution. We'll just go ahead and adopt it, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So next item is number 8, adoption of the consent calendar. Does anyone like to make any changes to the consent calendar before we vote on it?
Yes. I would like to hear a little bit of discussion about the 2 items in Part B, the water line easement and also the platform at the train station.
Excellent.
I would move for the adoption of the consent calendar minus B 1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Okay, so we're gonna come back later today and talk about items B, adoption of resolution accepting water easement from Great Albany Public School District on pages 29 and 34, and then granting easement to National Railroad Passenger Corporation 35 through 50. So thank you very much, Councilor Olson.
Mayor, I can talk about those now if you'd like to keep moving.
Yeah.
Councilor Olson, would you like to hear him? Council would like to hear him now?
Yes, I would.
Director Bailey, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. So item 1 is an easement over a new water line that's being constructed as part of the Greater Albany Public School project at West Albany. This is a new water line that's connecting water mains on Liberty and Elm, and is providing some services for private hydrants that serve the school property through there, and also looping that system. So it's just an easement over that water line.
Okay, so it's mainly fire hydrants.
It is, but it's also providing some looping, so will help with water quality and shutdowns in the future.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
And then number 2, this is an easement to AMTRAK. They have a project to make some improvements to their platform at the Albany multimodal station, to the train platform there behind the station. The city owns the property, so we have to give them an easement to do the work for the improvements for ADA accessibility and some storm drainage, which they are constructing.
So does that allow people in wheelchairs to get into the train easier, or just, I saw the drawings, but it doesn't say much of anything about what it will allow or improve.
I think it's improving access to the platform. I'm not super familiar with the project, but I think it's improving ADA access to the platform from the parking lot. And then they have a system whereby they can get people who use mobility devices or wheelchairs up into the train. So I'm not sure if it's not building a ramp into the train, level as per se, but I think it's improving access to the platform from the parking lot.
Oh,
I believe, but I'm not 100% sure.
yeah, yeah, and the print on most of it was too small for me to read. But yeah, thank you. That's fine.
Thank you, Director.
I'd move to approve items B, 1, and 2 in the consent calendar.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed
Aye.
say nay. Thank you very much, Council. Next is business from the council. First on my screen is Councilor Kopsinski,
Nothing.
Councilor Johnson.
Okay, I have a couple things here that should be real quick. First of all, I want to say that we as a city are so fortunate to have the knowledgeable, trained staff that we have. Just an example tonight with Director Bailey, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but from the wastewater system, it's like they know what they're doing, and we can just kind of breathe easy that they know what they're doing, and they'll let us know if there's any problems or if we need to help. So I just want to give a shout out to all of those employees. And then I want to recognize Chief Harnden and her staff regarding the large drug bust that happened in Lebanon. I think it was late last month. I cannot believe that something like that can go undetected, but I believe they were monitoring it very closely. But hopefully with an illegal grow like that, it will keep a lot of drugs off the street. And then finally, I'd like to ask the unvaccinated people to get vaccinated. Unvaccinated people are overrunning our hospitals, overworking our staff, our nurses, our doctors, and all the staff. And our ICU units are filled, where OHSU is helping out Eastern Oregon because they don't have enough beds. So I'm just asking to please get vaccinated so that you can protect me, my husband, my family, and all the kids going to school, because right now we're in a dire situation. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
I
Councilor,
might ask too, how would you like to end up as a corpse in a refrigerated truck?
Councilor Olson, you're next. Go ahead.
Well, well, I guess I interrupted myself, didn't I? Sorry about that.
It's okay. You're up though.
But one of my constituents raised the question about a list of Albany businesses that's being gotten up and whether that's in preparation for yet more charges. And I assured him that I didn't think so. But do we know anything about that?
What was that again? Charges for what?
Well, no, it doesn't say anything about charges, but apparently a list of businesses in the city of Albany. And I don't know if we're doing it or the Chamber of Commerce is doing it. Does our management know anything about it?
I think City Manager would like to make a comment.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think what Councilor Olson is referring to is a grant that was recently awarded to our staff by the Council of Governments in the form of about $10,000 with which to start a business registration. And
Yes,
that's the list that you're talking about. It's not a list that already exists. It's a list that would help, as you remember during our initial stages of the pandemic. If we'd had a list of businesses in the community, we would have easily been able to go out and help in the various ways that were available at the time. But we didn't have that registration list. And we're behind, in a sense, we're behind many other communities that do have such a registration list. However, I have to dispel some rumors. This is not an attempt to put money into the coffers. This would be a self-sustaining registration, and the council has expressed their unanimous support for it last year. and they have continued, you all have continued to support it. And so this is what I think Councilor Olson is hearing comments about. Although they're not completely accurate. This is something, the reason that grant was awarded to the staff was so that we could do that, create that such a registration subject to council approval at no cost to businesses. So that's where it stands right now. Before we can accept that grant, we'll have to come back to the council and get council's approval of it. So you will hear more about it in the future.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Anything else, Councilor Olson?
No, no, thanks.
Councilor Smith, you're next up.
All right, to segue there, I'm really happy to hear about that grant. I've been a big proponent of the business registration program for about 15 years, and it's nice to see that it's finally happening. I also want to compliment whoever came up with the idea of doing the proclamations by PowerPoint. That's really useful for people who are stuck watching the little box like we are. I think that's great that they finally have an opportunity to see that and can't just pass over it in the packet. That was a very nice, and this was a good opportunity, 2 good proclamations to start that with. The other thing, Councilor Johnson touched on this with her comments about vaccinations. I would like to know if we have any kind of numbers for the number of city employees who have been vaccinated. That's a concern to me.
Actually, new HR Director Roten. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and councilors. I'm back with you, just with a different title, same face. We do have some information, Councilor Smith. We did an informal, or I should say a voluntary survey in May of this year. The data is obviously out of date. We've just today actually sent out another survey link asking our staff to voluntarily participate in a survey about their vaccination status. So we'd be happy to share that with the council. Once we have that information, we've asked people to complete it by late next week. So if that's suitable, that it doesn't answer your question today, but I'm afraid that the data we would have to provide you from May wouldn't really be an accurate reflection of our state today.
I think that I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, we will definitely follow up and provide that information when it's available.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Smith, you still have the floor.
Well, I'll just close out that topic by sharing that I would like people to take my question as encouragement to become vaccinated if you aren't already.
Thank you. Councilor Novak.
Yeah, I have a question with regard to the business registry. I would be in favor of anything that helps businesses. Our city manager mentioned that if we had a list of businesses in the city, that we might have been able to do more to help them. I just want to clarify that there would be no sort of registry fee or any sort of expenditure on behalf of said businesses to be a part of this, whatever it is that's supposed to help, this registration that's supposed to help businesses. Because again, and I've said this more than a few times over the course of this year, businesses, small businesses, not every business, but a lot of small businesses have been badly hurt by the events of the last 19 months. And I just, the way things stand, I would really appreciate clarification before we touch anything having to do with a business registry, that it will not involve any financial output by small businesses. Thank you.
City Manager.
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, Councilor Novak, we'll be coming back to you with a discussion on the whole subject of it. And as you recall, even before we can accept that grant from the COG, we have to get the council's approval. So you will definitely hear more about this.
Are you aware at this time, sir, whether it involves any sort of financial output by businesses that would have no choice but to be a part of it? Or would there be an option to opt out if it's required to pay something?
It
for the
would be
privilege of being on the registry.
Yeah, it would be inappropriate to say now what your decision would be, because it would be the council's
Mhm.
decision as to what
No.
what the program looks like. So what we'll come
Oh, so
back
we-
to, what we'll come
forgive me,
back to
if-
you with is some options for how you can design it. So yeah, but right now I can't say whether there would or wouldn't be. You know, as a general rule, I would say that the council has a policy of recovering costs for the programs and assistance that it provides. So you know that's something that we look at all the time is how, and you will have to look at is how are you going to pay for that?
So so Counselor Novak, are you okay with them coming back with some options?
Yeah, I just want to understand it. That's all. And I'm sure we will discuss it further. I thought it was some sort of format that was already in existence. And
Oh.
that's why I was questioning,
Oh, I
if it will involve financial output from small business.
Right now,
if it's
it's just chatter. That's what I understand right now.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, they'll bring back something to us for us to look at. They committed to doing that for us just now, so we'll do that. Counselor Bartholomew, excuse me, Counselor Novak, do you have anything further?
Well, I just wanted to sort of piggyback on what Councillor Johnson said with regard to staff and how much, I just want to say how much I appreciate staff as well and the hard work they do. And also, Chief Harnden was in that article that that our city manager shared with us. And I just wanted to say some congratulations in regard to that. I'm very proud to see the police force getting good press. It does my heart good to see good press for our officers and our chief. That's all.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Counselor Bartholomew. You can't hear us? You still having problems? She's been having problems with her audio all night, so I apologize, we can't hear you. Do you want to call in? No, okay. So next time you go, give us a full rundown of what you need to say today, okay? And so that leaves me, there's a couple things. I do want to congratulate the chief and her team on working with the task force and make that bust. I think it's very, very good press for us, and it shows the dedication and professionalism of our police department. City staff's been doing a great job all year, even though we're kind of in and out of this pandemic lockdown, shutdown type. So they've been really flexible, very patient with people in the city and also with us. I'm happy about the grants. I'm looking forward to what they bring back to us to review. And then I would like to say that in general, just being out in the city, out talking to people, the attitude is really high and positive. I've heard very little negative comments over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I think the break this weekend was really helpful for a lot of families to get together. It was good for me. I actually slept into 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and that hasn't happened in years. We're talking like years. So it was a good break for all of us. We were reinvigorated and recharged. And I'd like to say a special thank you for congratulations to Holly Roden for her promotion, for Allison Lees for her promotion, and also for Mary Dibble for their promotions. And I hope all of you have a great evening. And I would like the city manager's report. Peter, you have something for us?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And, you know, I have to thank Councilor Johnson and Novak for their kind words, but they also stole my thunder because I did want to comment on Chris Bailey and the amount of work that she has put in with Gary Stockhoff of Benton County and Joe Kirby of Benton County, the county manager over there. So we enjoy very strong relationships with them as we do with our own with Lynn County as well. So it is, as you have both as all of you have recognized, it's a lot of work that's going into making this what seems like a little, on the face of it, it seems like a little change, but it is a lot of detail work. I wanted to also note that at 8:30 on Saturday morning is our commemoration of 9/11, the 20th anniversary of 9/11 on the courthouse steps. If you're able to make it, I would encourage it, but you'll have to plan on parking perhaps a bit a ways because that's also coincidentally Saturday market and also antiques in the street. So there's quite a bit of business down here around City Hall. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And great reports, everyone. And next meeting dates are Monday, September 20th, 2021 at 4 p.m. for a work session. And then Monday, September, wait, there's two. There's another September 20th meeting, 5:15 at 5 p.m. with the joint work session with the Planning Commission. And then Wednesday, September 22nd at 6 p.m. for a regular meeting. And with that, have a great.
Mayor, may I have one unspent round? And that is that next Wednesday is the business extravaganza at the Lynn Expo Center. And the city will be represented out there. And if any of you are able to come and visit, I'd encourage you to stop by the booth and perhaps spend a little time there.
What time is that? What time is it?
That's next Wednesday afternoon.
Okay, afternoon. Well, I'm not too far from, I probably might just walk over myself. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. And thank you very much. And I call for adjournment of the meeting.
Okay, great. Good night,
Yeah.
everyone.